Morse Media presents A Girlfriend's Guide to Life podcast that will help you live the life you've been given. Join in the conversation. Hi, everyone. Welcome to A Girlfriend's Guide to Life podcast. I'm your host, Miesha Shanell. Thank you for your continuous support. I love you. I love coming on every time knowing that you are here waiting for me. Today in studio, guys, I have writer, director, producer, Emmy-nominated writer Frederick Hawthorne. He's in studio today talking about his controversial film, 9 Wives. Also with us, he brought his lead actress, the beautiful Brianna Redman, in studio with us, and we are going to talk about his film. So, guys, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having us.
We're supposed to say ashe.
Yes, get it. So we're just going to just jump right into this. So many of you know this is Silent Heroes on IG. He is a boxing, I would call you like a connoisseur of boxing, but he's also a writer and director and producer. And this movie, I know personally, has been on his heart for many years. He is a civil rights leader.
Don't put that on me.
It's coming. He's definitely an activist.
The government is coming already, man. You know why coming? The government coming. God damn.
You want this. You love this.
I'm leaving here going to Andrew's funeral home then.
No, you're not. We're not going to put that on you. We're not going to put... This brother here is passionate about our community. He not only is he a writer, producer, but he also is an advocate of the community. He always is having backpack, and just recently he had his annual backpack barbershop, what was it? Haircut.
Yeah, free haircut.
Free haircut barbershop conversations event. He gives out free food. He helps needy single mothers. This brother is definitely someone to be reckoned with. But I don't want to keep talking. I just want to talk to you, Fred, about this project. Yes. What was your inspiration for taking on this project?
I've always been we use the word connoisseur of Malcolm X and what he stood for and what he believed. And I was always unsettled with how America and the Nation of Islam talked about February 21st, 1965, which is the day he was assassinated. And when you speak to many Nation of Islam members, they always say, oh, he's a hypocrite. He betrayed his teacher. And I'm like, that doesn't sound right, because the Malcolm X that I knew was very forthright and very honest. And so as I got older, I increased my digging for information. And because of COVID worked out to our advantage, because I was traveling twice a month with boxing, and that got cut off. And so I said, let me focus on something that can push us, passionate about and can push us forward. And I got on my phone, and because of boxing, I started with like Muhammad Ali's wife, which she was in the house. She was actually in the house when Malcolm X and Dr. Betty Shabazz went to go see Elijah Muhammad to talk about the 9 wives. So I got that conversation on record, and so I started there, and everything just opened up. I went as far as Elijah Muhammad's family.
You talked to them?
Yeah, I spoke to them. I got on. Yes, I interviewed many of them, and Louis Farrakhan's childhood young adult best friend, and the list goes on and on. Old Nation of Islam members and friends who were friends of Malcolm X and so on and so forth. And the more I dug, the more I realized that what the Nation of Islam is saying in 2021 was untrue, and how they capsulate Elijah Muhammad isn't true, and as the title of the movie tells, 9 wives. It's impossible to have 9 wives in America. You understand what I'm saying? It's quite illegal,
Yeah.
And
polygamy.
Yeah. And there was a quote by that's true. And there was a quote when Mike Wallace interviewed Louis Farrakhan in front of Malcolm X's daughter, which was very compelling for me. Mike Wallace stood there, like we're sitting today, was his daughter, Attila Shabazz, and Louis Farrakhan. Let's say he's sitting there, and I'm Mike Wallace. And he says, Malcolm X sat next to me and put me on the phone with these young girls. And he asked them, you knew about these young ladies.
They were young girls?
Young girls. And Louis Farrakhan shrunk and shook his head yes. And so with that revelation, which has been around for years, and the rhetoric and the propaganda that the Nation of Islam is spilling, I think it's time that people just stand up and just tell the whole truth, because it's only a 180 truth. I think we need the other 180.
Why do you care about his 9 wives? Why do you care?
It's not necessarily about his 9 wives.
Okay.
It's just what led to his murder.
Okay.
You understand? And the separation. So if it had been something else, it would have been.
Okay.
Yeah. And the fact that 5 Nation of Islam members walked into the Audubon ballroom at 3 p.m. and murdered the man. And the separation started with the propaganda lies of Elijah Muhammad saying that I don't have 9 wives.
Oh,
I don't have.
Covered it up.
Yes.
Okay.
And that created tension and friction.
Because they knew.
Yeah.
And they, okay.
The ministers knew.
The ministers knew.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like hush, hush.
Very much hush.
So now that you have written the movie,
Mm-hmm.
you've directed it, you've produced it, that is pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And it's ready to go. It's releasing on August 5th.
Yes.
What's your hopes for it? What do you hope to accomplish?
That the world sees it, you know, and my job is just to present the truth. It's your job to digest it and do what you want. I'm not going to stand in front of no Nation of Islam mosque and say, hey, you lied. No, I'm just going to present the truth and you deal with it on your own, you know. And I think not only is each word correct, I think every syllable in this film is 100% accurate. You understand?
Yeah.
And Brianna Michelle did it. Oh, man.
We're gonna get
okay.
Hold on, I'm not gonna forget the beauty in the room.
She did a hell of a job.
I am not gonna forget that. We getting there. I'm focused on you right now.
Right.
Let me, the journalist, do this. Okay. I got you, boo. Got you. I ain't gonna forget your. Sure not. I ain't gonna forget your lead actress. I got you.
Right.
So you said that you just want it to be seen all over the world, globe, America. Are you thinking globally? What's your goal for it?
Yeah, we're gonna do film festivals. You know, the fact that I have titles. You know, I'm Emmy nominated. I've won the Pan African Film Festival, which is here in our neighborhood, which is the largest Black film festival.
You won it?
Yeah, I won it. I've won it twice.
Before?
Yes.
Yes,
before.
in your other movies.
Yeah,
yes,
other movies.
I do.
And,
Yeah.
so-
I'm like, already? Like,
So I have titles, so I can.
That's,
So with my
Yes,
accolades,
gotta be the
I can present it, and I can get in like much smaller film festivals, but to push it towards bigger film festivals, and even if it doesn't, it's gonna be seen.
Yeah,
you know,
that's good.
and I'm excited about the response. You know, and we have a private screening August 1st, and I think we've named that Bree Day, right? We named that
That's
Bree
your
Day.
day. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna bring my friends, girl. I'm gonna bring my girlfriend.
I think we've named it Bree Day.
Okay, that's awesome.
and-
Before we get into Bree, I have one more question.
Yeah.
Just tell us real briefly. I know you don't want to give away what the movie is about, but give us a quick synopsis about the movie.
Sure. 9 Wives is a conversation with Elijah Muhammad and one of his wives, and the first time in that wife's life she's been liberated, and I think it's a tale of women's strength. It's one of the few times in American cinema where the Black woman walks in as the victim and she walks out as a superhero.
Yes,
You understand what I'm saying? And
that is the strength of a Black woman.
and
100%.
and it's just an eloquent tale, you know. You're gonna laugh, you're gonna cry, you're gonna hate me, you're gonna love her, you're gonna hate her, you're gonna love me, you know.
Awesome.
And at the end of the day, I think that it's honest tales which will push us forward into enabling us to seek truth, you know, and actually live better at the end. Because you know, my honest opinion of Elijah Muhammad is that he's a nasty old man. You understand what I'm saying? So
That's your true opinion of him?
yeah, that's my true opinion of him.
He was a nasty old man.
Yeah, I mean, like take this into account. Take this into account. let's just say they wasn't underage.
Okay.
Let's say they were 18 and 19. So you groom them.
How old were they?
No, but that's the argument. Oh, they wasn't underage.
Okay,
So let's just say they're 19. Let's just say they're 19.
Okay.
So you let them work for you from 15, 16, 17, and then 19, you just happen to say, oh, I like you.
No, they groomed them.
You groom them.
And my next show is actually going to be on sex trafficking. So
Wow.
basically, he was a sex trafficker.
Yeah, in some sense of the word, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
With that, tell me about your cast members.
Oh, yeah, I've had a lot of them.
Tell me, and then we will you lead into Bree.
Yeah, I mean, we've have a doctor. We actually had Elijah Muhammad. He was played by Harold Washington. We had 2 NOI members, and we had a few wives, and we have the lead. I mean,
Yes.
Brianna Michelle. And,
Brianna Michelle is in the building with this, guys.
And man, she did an amazing job. I as we were doing the film, I forgot I was a director, and I was literally watching her on film. I mean, watching her live, and then when she get done with her set, she gets a standing ovation from the people in the room, and I'm like, I was like, man, I forgot, because my job is to make sure that the set is consistent,
Yes.
and like, understand stuff like that.
But you got caught up in
she's hitting her point,
and she's saying it the way you wrote it. I get that. You're like, wow.
And then she walked out, standing ovation, and it was extraordinary. So I can't wait for the world to see it.
I'm excited right along with you guys, and I'm going to bring my friends out, and we are going to come to Bree Day. But
okay.
Before that, so Brianna Michelle Redman, how did you get? We're bringing you on now. We talking. It's all about you.
Yes. For another Bree Day.
Yes, right. So tell us, how did you get involved with this? Tell us, how did you get involved with 9 Lives? Because as I know in doing my research, you are a high fashion model. You're a model, and you have an agent, and you are known by being a model. Now you're segueing into acting.
Yes.
How did that transition over? How did that happen?
Well, I've always been interested in film and commercial. That's why I moved to Los Angeles.
Okay, tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, so born and raised Seattle, went to college in Atlanta, moved to New York and started modeling. And was traveling back and forth here. And then there was one winter I went back to New York, and it was freezing. I was like, I'm not doing this no more. And plus I want a new pace of life, and embark on new things, which would be more commercial and film. And, LA is the place to be. And so I came to LA, got agents, and, I've been shooting commercials and things of that nature. And film has just always been, something I want to get into. Yeah, of course. And yeah, that's how
it came up. So you saw the role, it was presented to you, and you were like, I think I am going to do this. Did you research it? Did you just say yes?
So I met Fred about 3 or 4 years ago, and he was actually working on a project and we met at a restaurant down the street. Remember?
Somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, it was a restaurant down the street, and we talked about this film he was working on. And I think that, he stopped working on that, and he was like, but when I find another project, I want to use you. Okay. And I was like, all right, Fred, let me know. And then when he sent me this, I was like, oh. I was like, this is a lot. It's deep. It really was a lot. And I was like, do you trust me with this? Because it was heavy. It was so up and down. But the more I read it, the more I was like, I've related to her on so many levels.
So that was my question. Like, what inspired you to take on such a what am I trying to say? Controversial role.
Mm-hmm.
What inspired you? Because that's a big ticket to carry. That is like that's heavy.
Yeah, it is heavy. But I've been through heavy things in life myself, right? As a black woman, for one, and then as a black woman, and in this industry as well. But when he sent it to me and I read it, it was like a 5-page monologue. Let's start there. And I'm like reading through it. I was like, all this is me. And he was like, yeah, it's going to be all you. And I was like, there's no other, and I was like, okay. And I read through it, and there were so many similarities to some things that I've experienced in my life as far as, not having a father. Elijah was absent
And all of his cute. Well, how
Yeah.
can he be?
Yeah,
How can
and
he
some-
be present with 9 wives?
Listen, just spreading himself real thin.
Exactly. They were neglected. The kids
yes.
were neglected.
And so I understood that. I understood the aspect of being groomed and sexual assault aspect of it, and I understood, feeling very indifferent about where I was going to go post-trauma.
Okay.
And then, now I have this sense of empowerment since I, gotten over it and I've healed. I always believe healing was good on you.
Yeah.
And when I was reading the script, I know I was telling Fred, there were so many times I was reading through it and I'm like crying, and I was like, I was feeling really emotional about things because it was bringing up my triggers and my, some of my things.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, what would a woman that walks in a room that can finally, say her piece to someone? How should she feel? She should, it's powerful. It's empowering. Like I'm
to the victim speaking to the aggressor.
Yep.
Oh, that is deep.
Yeah. So I had my substitutions of people that I was speaking to, and I went to I had take classes at Ivana Chupa's class, and one of the teachers, Alec. We did a one-on-ones, and we went over different ways that I can go about
So you used your script. You took your script to your class.
Well, no, I took it
to
my training.
To your trainer.
To a teacher.
Okay.
Yes. And, I had my substitutions already.
Okay.
Because one of her techniques is really using your experience in a character. And I was
that's good.
Yes, it's very good. And I was able to use a few people, my dad, my uncle, the person that raised me, you know what I mean?
So this was healing for you, personal.
Yeah.
I always say that there's no accidents because he could have done a casting. He could have done, but he knew from, talking, just sharing things, like, you know what? Her beauty. Let me use all of that.
All of it, yeah.
Fred
knows what he's doing.
Let's not get that. He's quiet. He's humble.
Yes.
He acts real laid back. But if you take time to really get to know him,
he watches you too. Like over the years, like me and Fred became, friends. And he's watched me not just on Instagram, but we do boxing.
Like we
training
together.
Yeah. He introduced me to my boxing trainer. We have, conversation, even if it's just there. And Fred watches, even when you don't know he's watching. He's watching, and obviously he's seen something that was fitting for this and for him to trust me with it, it was little.
Oh, definitely.
He believed 100% in you. He wouldn't have put his money on you and passion on you. With that, we don't have much time, and I want to get to us promoting it and how we can buy tickets. But I wanted to ask you, Brianna, what did you learn from playing Marie, the lead role? What did you learn? You said it, but your takeaway.
What I learned is that healing looks good on you again, and that women are just really, they're powerful. And once you get to a place of understanding that what you went through is not who you are and it doesn't define you.
It's part of your story.
It's part of your story. And it's just, this script was just really, really powerful to be able to, like you said, liberation. I just felt liberated after. I remember when they were clapping, I was like, what did I do? You
guys got me excited. Like, I can't wait to see it. But before we go, I want to ask both of you one last question. Are either one of you concerned with the repercussions that this film may have regarding the controversial topics and subject matter?
I'm not, because I did this role to speak for women who want to feel empowered, who are empowering themselves, who are healing, and who have something to say about what they've experienced. I'm not doing it to shun the Nation of Islam. My brother was Muslim, and there's nothing to shun them. However, I am a woman. I have experience with sexual violence, and for him to, in those experiences that those young girls had to go through, that's for them. It's not for anything else.
That's awesome.
And to create a great, project for Fred to make sure that this message is out and that women are empowered by their survival.
Right. That is. So. That was eloquently said.
Thank you,
so, with that, Fred, tell us how we can pre-order tickets, because I believe there are still some tickets available. I'm actually going to get a few of them.
Okay, good.
But talk about them. Talk about that.
Yes. So August 5th, it officially drops worldwide.
Yes.
Yeah. Go to you definitely can go to thebarbershopconversations.com /9 wives and you can go there, or you can just simply go to my Instagram, Silent Heroes, SILENTHEROS, and just click the link in my bio. It'll take you right there. You know, the beautiful thing about it is the film costs $5.19.
I know, it's so cheap.
Yeah, it's very cheap, and the reason why is Malcolm X was born May 19th. So that's the 5th month and the 19th day. So I wanted everything to be alkaline.
Significant.
Yeah, you know, alkaline.
Come on, alkaline.
Yeah.
So alkaline the world.
Yes, alkaline some truth.
No, this was a cathartic and spiritual journey for me, you know, and not only did the movie come out great, but I think I became a better man because of this. Okay. You know, like walking in honesty. You know, the fact that I think I had to take all the information at its purest form, you know, not saying, oh, this is pro Malcolm, this is pro nation. I literally had to intake the information and tell it, because I was not going to tell this story without doing the homework.
Right.
You know? Right. And I did the homework. You know, I could have did an opinion-based movie.
Right.
But everything I say is true because everything cross-references, you know.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
So then there is no fear. There is no shunning.
No, I don't worry about that. You know, I don't drive across a bridge and think that it's going to fall apart. I don't get on the plane and think it's going to fall out the sky. Mm-hmm. I think about what I'm doing when I get across the bridge, right, when the plane lands. So I don't really have thoughts of failure. I don't really have thoughts of valleys and peaks, whatever it may come be. I think about when I get to the other side, what home am I building? Mm-hmm.
And that's why you have written, directed, and produced 3 movies.
Yeah.
You have an Emmy nomination. That is why you are who you are. Not only are you, he said, okay. Okay.
That's me.
I believe that because you walk in such elegance and grace and generosity that good comes, it falls in your lap. Like, if anyone has ever had a conversation with you, they know that you are not going to say anything negative. Mm-hmm. You're not going to yell. It's going to be very calm and uplifting. Mm-hmm. So I am proud of you.
Thank you. I appreciate
and thank you for getting that off of you, because that was something that clearly, if it was during COVID, that was keeping you up at night.
It was. How much time we got?
You could go ahead.
Okay. Oh no, because I'm gonna tell you a great story.
Okay.
Speaking of can't sleep at night, I had my first panic attack I've ever had in my life because John Ali, who was 93, who was Elijah Muhammad's right-hand man for 10 years, right? 1960 to 1970, he was the National Secretary of the Nation of Islam. So that means he knows everything that transpires within Elijah Muhammad and the business of the nation, the publicity of the nation. And it was Friday, and I was on the phone with him, and I was on the phone with people who had connected me with him, and I says, he's 93, and I went to bed Friday night, and I had my first pain. I couldn't breathe. I was palpitating.
What happened? Why?
I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
Because I was like, I got to get to this man because he's 93.
Oh.
And I hopped on the plane Saturday at 1 o'clock. I was like, I don't know who's watching the kids, but I'm getting on this plane, but it worked out. But nothing would stop me. Nothing would stop me from getting on this plane. I mean, he hasn't passed since, but the fact that I was so in tune with this project, you understand that nothing was getting in the way of this project, you know. And now we're here. August 5th, we get to see Brianna, Michelle. August 1st is Bree Day. We have a premiere. Her mom is coming.
So tell us where is the premiere going to be?
Well, it's going to be private, so you got to DM me for.
Really? This about to be. Y'all better get y'all tickets because this one right here, he fancy. He fancy, y'all. Y'all better get y'all tickets while they $5.19.
Yeah, so it's going to be a private screening. And,
that is
we're going to have a great time. We're going to have a great time. Yeah.
Well, you guys, you heard it from Frederick and Brianna Michelle. Go out August 5th and support 9 Wives. Thank you for tuning in. I need your help, guys. You know that we have just gotten onto our own page on YouTube, and we need you to subscribe. Subscribe to Girlfriend's Guide to Life and send it out to your friends and your families. It's free. Help us. You can also find us on Facebook, Girlfriend's Guide to Life, the way it's spelled. And on Instagram is Girlfriend's Guide to Life with life spelled Lyfe. Until next time, I'll see you. Always be happy no matter what. And to my emancipated youth, keep your head up. If you need me, I'm here. I tell you that every week. Love you guys. Peace and blessings. Thank you for joining us. Follow us on Facebook at Girlfriend's Guide to Life Podcast, the way it's spelled, and on Instagram, Girlfriend's Guide to Life